Welcome to Terra Juno Painting Stuff. In this video, we are going to be painting Sturgeon Creek. We're going to be painting this 16 by 12 inch oil painting on location. I'm in a park called Woodhaven Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and it's a really hot day, so we were driving around and we saw this beautiful little park and we came down into a shady spot. It's cool and breezy and Emily can go in the water, so it's a great place to spend a little moment or two painting. I found this kind of late in the day, so I'm just going to work on my drawing and then come back another day and do the painting so I could split it up. Apparently this is the time of day when everybody comes to this exact spot to fish, so I'm gonna get out of the fishing spot. There's some people trying to fish and Emily is guarding me, so she's on leash again. That is all the drawing I'm gonna get done today. I've got to pack up and get going. I was able to come back a few days later. On my palette, I have fast dry white, titanium white, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, Prussian blue, ivory black, alizarin crimson, cadmium red medium, terra rosa, permanent green, azo green, phthalo green light, cadmium yellow light, and I'm using Gamblin's solvent-free medium. I'm starting with a wash using a bit of medium mixed with solvent, with azo green and yellow ochre, mixing in some white and Prussian blue as needed. I left Emily at home. I was a bit concerned about all of the fishing lures and fishing wire that was in the trees and bushes and river. I didn't want her to get caught on it. And there was also something very large living in the bushes, and it did not seem afraid of Emily, and she did not seem afraid of it. I didn't want to find out what would happen if they met. The day I returned, there was a advisory to stay inside because of the smoke from the forest fires happening in the north of Manitoba. I was really excited to try to capture some really red skies that you usually see during a forest fire, but they never really did get red. They got a bit sort of brownish, and there was an interesting atmosphere. It was a little bit smoky, but coming from the West Coast where we often have forest fire smoke, I was fine. I had the park to myself. Well, here's where I got tonight. The light is beautiful. I really enjoy this, but it has changed quite significantly from where I started. So I'm gonna give it a rest. Plus, I'm covered in paint. Somehow I got paint all over my shirt. Oh, it's even down the front. Good. Well, that's it. The sunshine is officially gone. I'm not tall enough to see over the railing. Back again. This is my last chance to finish this scene before we have to head back to the West Coast. The pressure is on. I started by painting a thin layer of Gamblin's solvent-free medium, thinned down with solvent, to help my new paint layer glide over top. This is a very thin layer of medium. I need it so that my first layer doesn't get removed by the pressure of my paintbrushes on the surface because it's not quite dry. I'd been hoping to return before the paint dried. I would have preferred to do this scene in one layer. There are benefits to working in two layers. You can get cleaner colors and extend the tonal range, but often at the expense of brushwork. You had to be careful to allow the brush strokes to breathe in the second layer and not to paint over too much of your initial layer. These rocks on the right hand of the scene aren't just rocks. When Emily and I were exploring, we discovered that they are remnants of a building, and quite a fancy building. There are pieces of brick, tiled flooring, chiseled decorative capitals and blocks. I searched in the Winnipeg archives, but I couldn't find any information on what building they could be from or how they got there. They look like they're from the late 1800s or early 1900s, which was Winnipeg's building heyday. Based on the inscription of one of the bricks I found, the company that made them was the Henry Stevens Brick Company from Portage La Prairie, Manitoba. That would most likely place them in the very early 1900s. It was a lovely, quiet evening. There was a strong breeze blowing, and people were fishing on the shore. You see a lot of families and couples. The people in Manitoba are very nice. They are really friendly, and it even says so on their license plate. And I have to say, I am going to miss that. There's just something very genuine about the people here, and everyone I encountered was so nice. I don't think many people knew what I was doing. I don't think there's many plein air painters around Winnipeg from just some of the reactions I got from people, which is interesting because they do have a lot of really gorgeous scenery. Lots of rivers and a lot of parks. They have a lot of beautiful parks. Well, it's time to pack up and time to head back home to the West Coast. Thank you so much for joining me for another plein air adventure. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you paint something beautiful. I am going to be posting every other week during the summer, and I will go back to posting on a weekly basis in the fall so I can get some of my unfinished projects done. I hope you have a lovely 2 weeks, and I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching.
She's so cute. She's so nosy. She's just in everybody's business, just hanging out the window. Yeah, baby.